Hello, I just want to show you how we're going to organize our notes for the Holocaust project. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that all the notes are complete. So I took the rest of my notes on children during the Holocaust. What I want to point out is that I have a part here that is all quotations. I might change that later, but for right now, I'll just leave it as quotes so that I know that it was a quotation and not my own words. So you can make these not full sentences if you want to. I have mine as full sentences, but they are in my own words except for what's in quotes. Okay, so that was for my USHMM article. This is for my eyewitness testimony. So just to summarize, this woman who I watched this morning, it was probably one of the most devastating Holocaust stories I've heard so far. So there is this woman, and she lives with her mother. They decided to hide. So the mother chose a farmhouse, and then this religious family who was very poor hid them. They were hidden in a hole under where a pig stands. So I guess they dug this hole that was big enough for the mother and the daughter, but it was only big enough for one of them. Sorry, for one of them to lay sideways and for one of them to lay flat. So it was only big enough for like one person here and one person here, and that was all. So the people who were hiding them gave them food once a day, and then they could come out at night. But the little girl who was telling her story later, her name is Claire, she slept while her mother was awake. So anytime her mom was up, she was not, and she really didn't talk to anybody. So she started becoming delusional. She said that she lived in a fantasy world. They lived there for a few months where they were not able to move at all, and where she really wasn't talking to anybody. So she had some psychological trauma from having to live in that kind of situation. Eventually, the people who were hiding them suggested that she was possessed by the devil and that the mother should kill her daughter. So then they decided to leave. So the mother took her somewhere else, and they lived in their attic. And then she was able to live on this other farm and kind of roam around with other kids, and live like a normal child, except that she kind of had to heal psychologically from being pretty much just stuck in a hole. So anyway, I have my notes here. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my notes. I'm going to take the blue ones and I'm going to take the green ones. And I'm going to copy and paste both. So Control C for copy and Control V for paste. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to keep my notes in order at the top. I'm just going to leave those alone. And then down at the bottom, what I'll do is I will reorganize them. So I want to reorganize them according to what's there. I want to think about what order these things should be in. So I have here the children were in danger because of their race, abilities, or political activities. Children and old people were less likely to survive. Children had to hide often to survive the Holocaust. I have that children had to hide, and then I have a story of a child who hid. So what seems like would make sense is I could do Control C. Oh no, I'm ringing. That's Mrs. Butler. She'll forgive me later because she'll probably post this. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. I'm going to take this, copy it, and I'm going to paste this. Remember that I'm working on my second page because my first page is my notes that are complete. So down on page 2. So here, children had to hide to survive the Holocaust. What I might do is I might paste that in there, okay? Because this is all one story. All of the green stuff here, this is all one story. It wouldn't make sense to break it up and to kind of flip-flop between those two articles, I guess we'll call them, the two sets of notes. So it says young children were sent directly to the gas chambers. That's kind of a weird way to go back into that. I actually have, okay, so I have down here that many children escaped concentration camps and killing centers by being hidden by non-Jews. Okay, let's actually try this instead. I'm thinking that maybe this is a weird place to put this extended story of what happened to Claire, the woman in the eyewitness video. So maybe instead I'll put it down here, and that might make a little more sense. So there's nothing wrong with organizing, reorganizing. Another thing that I can do is I can take where children had to hide at the beginning. And you know what? In my paragraph, I want to put that down here because it makes more sense down there. It makes more sense to put that with um, the other place that I have about people hiding. So I'm going to paste that there. Okay, so now I'm taking a look at this and I'm thinking, children had to hide to survive the Holocaust, and they escaped concentration camps by being hidden by non-Jews. These are the same. I'm actually going to get rid of that. Okay. Then after I talk about Claire and her situation, after the war, people searched for missing children and sought to reunite them with family, but many ended up in displaced persons camps. Okay, so I like that. Okay, so one mistake that I see here is I copied and pasted instead of cutting and pasting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this because I already have it up above. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over my list. I am going to look for, and I'm just going to comment this so that it's also shown to you. I'm going to look for anything that is repeated or redundant. Those are kind of synonyms. I might look for something that doesn't make sense with the organization. I might look for places where I need more information. And then maybe if I need more information, I can look that up on USHMM and see what else I can find. Okay, so is there anything here that is repeated? So children are in danger. They were less likely to survive. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I can take those three ideas. Maybe I can combine them into one sentence. So maybe I would say later, children were in danger because of their race, abilities, or political activities and were less likely to survive, or maybe so, they were less likely to survive in concentration camps because they were sent directly to gas chambers. So all of those things would kind of go into one sentence. 13 to 18-year-olds, teenagers, could be used for labor, so they often survived being killed outright, but then later they were forced into labor and sometimes died because it was really hard work and they weren't fed enough and they weren't given everything that they needed to survive. Okay, so I'm going to go down through here, eliminate anything that is redundant. I might move around something that doesn't make sense with the organization that I have, and I might add more information anywhere that I need to, anywhere that it seems like there's missing information. Okay, so that's how you are organizing notes. What I want you to see is that I still have my blues and my greens. I didn't get rid of them and make them all the same. I want to do that so that I can keep this. I can keep the sources so that I know where they came from. And then you'll notice I still have a blue remaining down here. Yours doesn't have to be exactly like this. You're just going to think about what makes sense. Then what you'll see is that this is page 2. On page 1, I still have all of my links the way that they were before. So you're going to preserve your notes as they were before, make a copy of them, and then reorganize. So if you have questions, please make sure that you ask. Have a great day.